Hello everyone, this is the 37th video of my database management systems question video series. In the previous videos, we create a database called RLADB and done some questions related to that database. And in this video, I'm going to continue that question series. Let's move on to the first one. Okay, which of the users registered with the shop is living in Kurunegala? Okay, here we have to find the user details uh, of the users who live in Kurunegala, and there's another special instruction: create a view for this. Do not use the graphical method for that. Okay, we can't uh, use the query method. We have to create a view for this one. So let's jump into our ADSQL browser, and this is our query tab, and let's start writing a query. In this case, I'm going to show you the details here. If we are going to select the user details who are in Kurunegala, in the user table you can see there's only the user only the address ID is here. That address details are in another table called address, this one. And also uh, in the address table, only the city ID is stored in this table. There's another table to store the city details, the city names called city. So if we are going to filter the data of a user who live in Kurunegala, we have to combine all three tables together. So let's do that part first. Select asterisk from. First, I'm mentioning the user table, and I'm joining the address table to that table. Address. This is the condition. In the address table, address ID should equal to the address ID in the user table. Let me show the details here. You can see the user details are here, and also the address details are here. And in a join, we have to join the city table to this one. City on city dot city ID should equal to the city ID in the address table. Here we combine all three tables together. Now we can filter the data in this combined table. Okay. I'm going to use the where method, where in the city table, city name should equal to Kurunegala. Let me copy the name quickly. Kurunegala. Okay, let's execute this query. Here, these are the two users who are in Kurunegala. But in this case, I need only the users details, like user names and contact numbers, like that. I'm going to output only the details in the user table. So I'm going to change the asterisk marks to user dot asterisk. So it is only going to output the details of the related to the user table, not other two tables. Let's execute this one. Here you can see these are the details of the two users uh, who live in Kurunegala, and these are the first names, last names, and contact numbers stored in the user table of those two users. Okay, now we can create our view using this one. Let me cut this query, and let's create our table, sorry, view. Create view. I'm going to name it user view. S, and this is our query. Okay, let's execute this one, and let's refresh our database. and you can see there's a view called user view. And let's go to the data here. You can see these are the data of the two users live in Purunangal. Okay, now we completed the first part of our question, right? Now let's move on to the second one. Update the query statement required to get user ID, first name, last name information in the view created above. So uh, again, we have to update the previous view we created called user view to output only the user ID, first name, and last name. Okay. There are more details like contact number, status, and user type ID. Like that, we don't need those details. So we have to update the user view to show only the first name, last name, and user ID. Okay. Let's clear this query and write a new one to show the details. We have to combine all the three tables again. Select asterisk from user table, inner join address on address ID in the address table should equal to the address ID in the user table. Okay, here these are the details. Inner join city table on city ID should equal to the city ID in the address table. Here these are the details, and now we can write our condition where the city table name should equal to Kurunagal. Let's copy that name quickly. Kurunagal. Here these are the details. Now we have to specify the details, the uh, details we need. So in the user table we need only the user ID, and again in the user table first name and the user's last name. Those are the only details we need here in the question. uh, User ID, first name, and last name. Now we can update the query, sorry, the view we created using this query. Create, in the previous one we used the keyword create only. So in this one I'm going to use create or replace. So if the query name already exists, it is going to replace the existing view, the details of the existing view with the new results. So create or replace, we have to mention the view name. So user, we have to use the exact name we created in the previous one, user view. Otherwise if you use a new name, it will going to create a new one, but this is the previous name we gave to our view. So this time it is going to update the details with the details in our new query, and view as this is our new query to get the details. Okay, let's execute this query and let's see what happens. Here in the view table, when I reload this one, uh, you can see there's no new view created. It's the previous one, and sorry, there's another keyword missing here. Create or replace view. We have to mention the name view and then the view name, and after that the keyword as, and then the query. So let's execute this one again, and refresh the database, and here again in the user view, here you can see now when we go to the data tab, it's only showing the new attributes we mentioned: user ID, first name and last name of the users who live in Kurunegala. Okay, I think we completed the second part. Let's move on to the third one. Okay, this is the question. Create a view to see all the GRN. Must include GRN ID, GRN date, and provider name. It's not necessary to enter the details of the items purchased here. Use the name of this view as GRN view. Okay. Again, we cannot use the graphical method. We have to create a view to show these details. Let's go to our SQL browser. Before starting to create this view, I have to show you, I need to show you this one real quickly. In the GRN table, these are the details stored in the GRN table: GRN ID, GRN date, and user ID. If we are going to show the user's name. That name is in the user table. We have to combine the GRN table and the user table. Uh, Again, there's another related table called GRN item, but in the question, they specifically told it's not necessary to enter the details of the items purchased. So we don't need to show the unit prices, selling prices like that. So we don't have to join this GRN item table. So let's combine GRN table and user table quickly. Let's clear this previous query. Okay, select asterisk from GRN table, inner join user table on user ID in the user table should equal to the user ID GRN table. Let's execute this one. Here you can see these are the users who supply products to this store. Now we have to, okay, I'm going to change the asterisk mark to, in the question you can see we have to show only the GRN ID, GRN date, and provider's name. So in the GRN table, output GRN ID, and again in the GRN table, output GRN date, and uh, in the user table, it should output the first name, and then again user table the last name. Let's execute this one. Here you can see these are the final answers. Now we can create our view using this query. I'm going to use the keyword create view, and let's give this view a name. I'm going to name it GRN view. As this query, and let's execute this one. Okay, I execute this query, and let's uh, refresh the database, and here there's a new view created called GRN view, and these are the data. Okay, and that's the answer for the third part of the question. Let's move on to the fourth one. The GRN view you created above includes the details of all GRN purchase items and rearrange this view. Okay, we have to rearrange. We have to replace the view with these new conditions. In this view, it is sufficient to display GRN ID, GRN date, first name, last name, product name, quantity, unit price, and selling price. The previous one here, in the previous one, I told you we can we have to only join GRN table and the user table. GRN item is not a necessary one, but in the fourth part, we have to join that table too. So there are three tables to join, and also in this one you can see we have to show the product name. Let me go back to the HDSQL browser, and you can see in the GRN item table there's no product name recorded in this table. That name is stored in the product table. So again, there's not only three tables to join, there are four tables to join. uh, GRN table, GRN item table, product table, and then the user table. So let's join those four tables together and write our conditions. Okay, select asterisk from GRN table, inner join GRN item table on GRN item. GRN ID should equal to the GRN ID in the GRN table. Okay, let's execute this one. Okay, these are the details, and then again inner join product table. You have to join the product table on the the product ID in the product table should equal to product ID in the GRN item table, and we connect three tables together. There's only one table left to join. Inner join user table on users ID should equal to the user's ID in the GRN table. Okay, and these are the details of the four tables. And now we can specify the details. We only need GRN ID, GRN date, first name, last name, GRN ID, GRN date, and in the user table, user's first name, and again in the user table, user's last name, and also the product name. So the product name is stored in the product table, product name, and here let's go back to our question. Product name, and then the quantity and unit price. After that, selling price. Those details are stored in the GRN item table. So in the GRN item table, quantity, again in the GRN item table, unit price, and after that, again in the GRN item table, selling price. And those are the details we need to show, and this is the final answer. Now we can use this query to create our view, but in this case we are not going to create a new view. We are going to replace these details with the previous view called GRN view we created earlier. Okay, we are going to replace the existing view. We have to use the keywords create or replace view, and we have to mention the exact same name of the view. We are going to update GRN view as this this new query, and let's execute this one. Now we can refresh our database, and let's go to our GRN view table, and you can see our data updated with the new version, GRN ID, GRN date, first name, last name of the uh, seller, and product name, quantity, unit price, and selling price. Okay. Uh, and I think we completed the fourth part of our, the final part of our question set 37. And that's all for this video. Thank you.